blind resume. Sean McDermott has a way better resume with less talent, less MVPs, less Pro Bowlers, less All-Pros, and John Harbaugh gets this prestigiousness. Is that a word?
Prestigiousness? I don't know.
I don't know if it's you added the ness, but on your scale, I'm going to accept that.
Yeah.
You are right that he has
what was that?
Underperformed.
What was that?
You are right. It does. You are right, Dan.
Thank you.
He's gonna... All right. Important news. We're coming to you. We have exciting stuff as we will be going live at the Thirsty Turtle on September 4th. That'll be Thursday coming up from 5 to 7. It's going to be Buffalo Plus Live. We've already done an event there, but it's going to be so much fun. The last time we were out there,
packed.
Awesome crowd. Great to meet everybody. We're going to do a meet and greet. Then we're going to do a live recording in the podcast, but very excited. Thirsty Turtle, September 4th.
Meet and greet, 5 to 7. It's the day of the first game of the NFL season. So you're all going to be watching the game probably later, but you come to us 5 to 7, 7 to 8 for the pod. We can't wait to see everybody.
Yeah, it was great atmosphere the last time. We're just going to run it back. Outdoor games, events, raffles, all of that stuff included. So make sure 5 to 7, Thirsty Turtle. Jenna was supposed to plug this earlier in the show. She didn't. So we are
forgot.
this.
Yeah, but you did only mention it 10 seconds before we went on.
I know. I mean, that's just not fair. You're just setting me up for failure.
So when we talk about this at the end of the podcast, this will all make way more sense to you, but we wanted to make sure we hit it early on in the podcast. So here it is.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris, Mike Catalan and Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Welcome to the latest episode of The League, presented by Stellar Roofing, Windows, and Siding. Today, we're going to talk about the AFC. Who's on the hot seat? Is it general managers? Is it coaches? Some of the players to talk about and predictions as we get into the 2025 NFL season. I want to start with Mike. You off the bat, because what do you make of just the AFC heading into this season?
You know, it's quarterback heavy, right? That's what everybody says. I think the fascinating thing about the AFC this year is it has been, rinse, repeat, right? It's the Ravens, it's the Bills, it's the Chiefs. But I think this year there's a little bit of a push coming from a couple other teams. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if they have the guys to get it done. And we'll talk about one of those teams when we get to that division. But I still think it's top heavy with those three. If you're betting now, I don't even know what the numbers would be to say one of those three teams is going to represent them in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But you never know. I just like the way a couple of other teams are put together.
Yeah, I think you're trying to, I don't know, it's every year there's always going to be a team that surprises you. There's going to be a team that didn't make the playoffs last year that is more than likely going to surprise people, turn heads, and be that team that, you don't want to play them. And last year was the Broncos. Yep. So again, now everybody's really high on the Broncos. Let's see how they pan out in year 2 with Bo Nix and that really good defense. And I think they're that trendy pick that the Bills used to be a few years ago, where it was like up and coming quarterback, really good defense, all these kind of things. It's just different to me because it's a retread of a head coach is what makes it different to me.
Yeah, it does make it different, but that Bills team made it to the AFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm talking about even like 2019.
Well, I would say last year was 19 for them.
Last year was 19.
Yes.
Okay, I could see
that. It was 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we'll see.
I mean, I think when you do talk about the AFC, it is, like you said, it is the quarterbacks. And just, I am curious, you didn't mention the Bengals. We talked about, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Their defense
and Josh
stinks.
Allen. I know their defense stinks. I'm not saying you could say Zach Taylor is one of the coaches that will be on the hot seat. Everything that goes into it. Would they finish last year? Like 9-8. Obviously did not make the playoffs, but they have Joe Burrow. They had the whole offseason to retool things. Like, where do you think they stand as we head in?
Their defense stinks.
Their defense can't be as bad as it was last year.
Why not?
I agree.
Why not?
New defensive coordinator.
Great. What did they do with their own best defensive end?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're reaching. There's encouraging signs again.
That's a fair point, though.
They signed their second round pick, officially signed, so they do have some pieces. They can't be as bad.
Okay.
They just can't. And they don't need to be, that's the thing. They don't need to be elite to be a playoff team that you don't want to face in January. Because if they have the 15th best defense, or if they had the 18th best defense last year, they'd probably make the playoffs. And the overreaction to the preseason, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but they give up 2 drives early on against the Commanders. I think that was the Monday night preseason game. Holy cow, what are we doing with our lives? And they didn't give up any more points. So we're sitting there like, oh, this defense, these guys are, plumbers and electricians. And it's like, they can't be as bad as they were.
Why?
Because they can't.
Well, let's go through that division. All right. We're going to do it by division by division.
Let's do it by division.
I think that AFC North is a fascinating division.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the Ravens might be the best team in the NFL coming into the year, right? If you look at what they had last year and then they added in the secondary, they have stability. They have stars. Their roster's got a lot going for them.
Could you imagine if the Bills had Malachi Starks?
No, they didn't need a safety.
Just pour some out. just shed some tears.
Quick aside, I had finally talked myself into Malachi Starks like the night before the draft when other people were like, hey, like the Bills are really interested. Again, Malachi Starks was never on the board when the Bills were on the clock. But I fully talked myself into it. People are like, oh, they got safeties.
Yeah.
They could really use Malachi Starks.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to the Bills. They have a young safety that is going to start, and they hope that he can be that guy in year 2. Yes, he's going to start.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens.
I love that statement because it's just a statement. You're like, we'll see how it goes.
They have players.
There are
players.
There are players on this roster.
Yeah.
All right, AFC North.
Yeah, I mean, what's Steve Bisciotti, the owner, been there. Eric DaCosta, the GM.
Yep.
John Harbaugh. They have stability.
Mm-hmm.
They have talent. I mean, when you talk about 1 to 100 in the league, I don't know how many they ended up with this year. They got Lamar and Derrick Henry to start. They added DeAndre Hopkins. Tight end guys are banged up. We saw what happened with Andrews at the end of the year. Their corner room, they added Jair Alexander, but they've got Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks. Is what I wanted the Bills secondary to be. It just never worked out that way.
Was coming out there for a second.
Do you think Derrick Henry is still going to be at an elite level? Or do you think that maybe this is the point where he starts to drop off?
I don't think he'll drop off. I think if they're smart, Lamar can handle a lot of the workload in terms of scoring points for them.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it so much easier when you have Derrick Henry. And I think kind of like with the Eagles and Saquon, they had great years last year. You can't keep going to that well and expect that guy at the end of the year to be that good.
He'll be 32 at the end of the
any
year.
moment, that guy is a force of nature.
Yeah.
So I think if you're smart and you can get offense through other players, it's just nice to have that in your back pocket all the time when you have one of the best running backs in the NFL.
I'm going to be ahead of the curve and say this is the season you start to see the decline.
Really?
Yeah. Because if it's not
Always
this year,
so
next year
negative.
I can say I'm going to be ahead of the curve.
You were way ahead of the curve.
It's like all the people are like, this is the year Brady's going to fall off. And they did that for 10 years.
Yeah.
I do have let's try again. I do have a complaint about the AFC North.
The Steelers.
That's a big one. I don't think it's some juggernaut of a division.
No.
The reason they beat up on one another outside of the Ravens for a few years where they had the number 1 seed, things like that, it's a division of mediocrity. Like I've never seen, again, I've been very much not a fan of John Harbaugh for all that he has done. I get it. He has the ring, but he's had a loaded roster and has won 0 championships in the last 10 years and has struggled at times to make the AFC championship game. So and I know this is mainly a Bills podcast, all these things, you go blind resume, Sean McDermott has a way better resume with less talent and has more AFC championship appearances, less MVPs, less Pro Bowlers, less All Pros. And John Harbaugh gets this it's probably also why Mike Tomlin is still a coach. It's like they have this prestigiousness. Is that a word?
Prestigiousness? I don't know.
I don't know if it's you added the
prestigiousness.
nest, but on your scale, I'm going to accept that.
Yeah.
We're going to accept
I'm
that.
gonna look that up.
Prestigiousness.
It's probably just they have this prestige.
Prestigiousness.
It is
Yeah.
Nailed it.
ahead of the curve. There you
Ahead of the
go.
curve.
You are right that he has
Wait, what was that?
underperformed.
What was that?
You are right. It does. You are right, Dan.
Thank you.
He's gonna clip that.
But if you look at the division, we cover the Bills. Look at the two. This division has Mike Tomlin and a team that always wins 9 games, a relatively stable organization, and it has Joe Burrow. We'll get to the AFC East, but it is really top heavy in the AFC East.
I agree. My point is that everybody says like, "Oh, that AFC North football, it's so tough." It's mediocre football. They just happen to beat up one another.
I think for a long time it was really tough, and then with the falling off of the Steelers, and then obviously the Browns are still the Browns.
No. The Steelers don't fall off until the playoffs start.
Okay, well,
and then they fall off a yes.
But
No,
you know what
I'm just
saying.
kidding. I'm kidding. What I'm saying is they're the most
Nick
they're
Mancuso
gonna
catching a
end
stray
up,
here.
They're going to end up there, and then they'll just
Yes, but I feel like it's the reputation
Right,
of
yeah.
it being hard-nosed football.
I'm not saying it's not. I am saying it is top heavy. Nobody talks about the AFC East as this buzzsaw of a division, but they put this AFC North pedestal like,
okay. But you
this
do
is
have
the toughest division in football. It's like,
you do have
I
to
don't
play
think so.
Burrow twice a year, and you play the Steelers. That is better than what we've seen in the East. My problem with the Bengals is, as we go to the Bengals, you got Mike Brown, Duke Tobin, Zach Taylor. I think he's on a bit of the seat this year with that team, and they don't know how to handle their own players. Great. They signed both their wide receivers. Congratulations. They got that done. We already know they can score points with their offense. I just don't think in the way they've handled, yes, Trey Hendrickson's going to sign, just like Micah Parsons is eventually going to sign, but they drag it out, and they cause themselves some issues. And I think that team has talent on offense, but I don't like the organization at all. I think it falters. Where I think the Ravens have a very good organization.
Agreed.
And they're right there.
And then there's the Steelers.
But with the Steelers, I mean, you have the Rooneys, right? It's Art Rooney. He goes by the second. Why do you go by the second instead of Junior?
I don't know.
Is it not
I don't.
the full name?
Well, maybe is there an Art Rooney the third? Like,
If you're the fourth, you can go by IV, and I think that's the coolest.
Yeah, my
Nice.
brother's the fourth.
Is
my
he
older
really?
brother, yeah. IV. Yeah.
That's cool.
My college roommate was Angelo Chandra the fourth, and I was like, I didn't know that till the very end. I was like, I would have called you IV.
Damn,
I think
IV.
that's the coolest thing.
putting his government name
Yeah.
out there.
Shout out Ace.
The Steelers have the Rooneys, obviously the most stable organization in the history of the league. They don't, they keep the same people. That's not always great, I know. But anyway, and Omar Khan as the GM, you ask Steelers fans, up and down with what they've done. Mike Tomlin, they do have a new quarterback this year. And I don't know if you guys have an opinion on him.
What's his name?
What do you think?
It's going to be different this year. It's not going to be different.
Do you think it could ever get bad?
Yeah. It got bad in New York.
Well,
Well,
Mike Tomlin has.
That's the thing. I feel like he's done such a good job. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I was just going to say
Well done.
Mike Tomlin has usually put up with a lot of crap, not from the quarterback.
Correct.
It was usually his crazy wide
I was saying
receivers.
he has dealt with challenging personalities.
But, Ben Roethlisberger, but he won, and he was a great player for them. Other than that, they've had a bunch of mediocre guys in and out at quarterback. Now he's got the big personality. And we will see if there's something that makes Mike Tomlin crack, this might be it. Because that guy is just, he says, he stays like there. He says his things in his press conferences.
Standard is the standard.
Standard is the standard.
Did you know that he was college roommates? I interrupted you with Sean McDermott.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
It is something to note, though, because I do think while Antonio Brown and all the personalities that you had there, the quarterback talks a lot more than those other players.
Yes.
And especially if there's going to be weekly segments not?
Oh, there's gonna be.
That is one thing that I think there's way more exposure and there's way more possibility, I feel like, for some
It's kind of wild.
craziness.
They start with the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well
they did
done.
that on. Yeah,
Well done,
That was
NFL.
good.
Yeah, that
And
tracks.
they have DK Metcalf, who was going to make some big plays, and
Yeah.
then we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see how that ends up going. Their defense, one thing I looked at, they brought in Jalen Ramsey, have Joey Porter. They gave Jalen Ramsey like a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that
That
good.
was
Good.
yeah, that was a little bit odd.
Use up that cap.
And then you have the Cleveland Browns.
And that's all we need to say about the Cleveland Browns.
Well, you say ownership,
I feel bad for Browns.
the
fans.
Haslams. Andrew Berry, I don't know if he's a good general manager because the ownership jumps in. They have Kevin Stefanski, who people think is a talented guy, but
he is.
And then you've got Jim Schwartz, who did a really good job with their defense as best they could. Their quarterback room is the most, the Giants one is very interesting. Theirs is Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and they still have Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
That is just wild. And everybody believes they're in the market for a quarterback next year.
That's insane.
So that is
Also, Myles Garrett signing back there.
Just give me the cash.
At some point, like, doesn't your happiness matter?
Maybe he's
I get
just
it.
happy.
Do some endorsements though.
Yeah.
Get your coin up that way. It's like Stockholm syndrome. Like, what are we doing? Why would you go back there?
I think it was funny too, the fact that obviously we know Shedeur fell to the 5th round, and it was like, oh, his kind of antics and stuff, and the posse and all of the things that were surrounding Shedeur at Colorado. Like, he'll cut that out in the NFL, and he walks in the first preseason game with like a guy holding a staff and a whole film crew, and it was like, boy, this is so Browns. This is so Browns for the 4th string quarterback.
Yeah.
And he looked awful in the last preseason game. So it's a good thing nobody overreacted to the first preseason game saying that he earned the starting job.
I saw our friend Dan Orlovsky took him to a little bit of task for the way
As he
played.
should.
And so a lot of that stuff that he did in college showed up. So at this point, he'll probably play this year. I think they're all going to play at some point, except for Deshaun
Probably.
Watson.
All right. Do we want to go AFC East next, or how do we want to do
Whatever order you want to go, boss. You're the host.
Wow. Okay, sorry. Let's go AFC East. Why not? You said top heavy.
It is top heavy.
It is the Bills.
I'm going to say it. I've said it before. The Jets are finishing in 2nd place in the division. I think they're going to be the 2nd best team in the division. I like what Aaron Glenn has done. They don't have the quarterback, I don't believe, but I think they know what they have. I think Vrabel and the Patriots are still going to try to get this working to get the guys in they want for the long term with Drake May. And I think that might hold them back a little bit this year. He wasn't happy with the roster. That is not a great roster. It is certainly a thin roster.
Yep.
Now they have Stephon Diggs, who should help the young quarterback, we would think. I just kind of like the atmosphere of the Jets. I think it's back to being about football for them. The owner has stayed out of the way. They don't have to worry about it. It is definitely the Aaron Glenn show. I like a lot of guys they have on defense, and I think they have enough talent on offense. I think they're going to be a tough out in most games. They've always been for the Bills.
I was going to say, they've been the ones that have challenged Buffalo the most.
And listen, when I'm talking about this, I'm looking at it as a battle between teams that are going to win 7-8 games.
Yeah, I understand.
I think the Patriots, roster-wise, are the least talented roster. I think they will overachieve the most. I think they will get things going in the right direction after. Like, this year will be the one where next year we're sitting there going, maybe they were 7-10.
They do have a
7-11
relatively easy start to their schedule too. And sometimes when you look at that, you're like, okay, and then you see where they are, and then it turns a little bit.
I'm just such a Vrabel fan of what he will do with. He has proven that over the years he has done more with less than most coaches. So I have a faith that he will get it turned around, especially in New England, where I know it's not the Belichick way anymore, but Vrabel does get things right.
He does. I would say the issue is, and I was listening to Albert Breer, who's covered the Patriots and covered the NFL for a long time, and he was talking about just how far behind that organization is in infrastructure. coaches, analytics, all the other things, because Belichick did
Yeah.
it all himself, basically, or did it the way he liked it. Last year, they were so overmatched.
Yeah.
Coach was overmatched. It just was and he said, Vrabel's got the juice to get that stuff done, but they are way behind in those departments in order to build a stable organization. Kraft's got to spend money. He hasn't had to spend money on those things.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny when you've had that team that way.
And you have to make the commitment to do that. And sometimes when you haven't done that in the past, I think it can be kind of shocking. And I do think, though, Vrabel, like what he learned in Tennessee and just having that position before, when they signed him, I was like, okay, that to me was a good signing for New England.
I think Vrabel gets everybody to sit up straight,
Okay.
not just in the building, but also I think in the division, people will take notice.
So do you want to wait to pick the divisions? We could do it or just do it at the end, whatever you would like to do.
Let's do it at the end.
We'll do them at the end. And then you got the Dolphins. I think they're a fourth place team this year. I think this is the time they start making major moves. I think Tua survives because they like him and they have him and they're paying him. I think Mike McDaniel gets fired at the end of the year. I think Chris Greer may get fired too. I think it's going to be one of those years where it's already not great there. They've already started to get rid of players and they don't have the proper culture. They just don't. I think they finish. Yeah.
The wheels are about to fall off.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's also very telling to like Jordan Poyer taking shots at them on his way out. Like that to me was another one where we always like, oh, Jordan will end up in Miami, and you start to see some of these things. And it does at times, I think it gets overplayed, but in the grand picture, I do think it gets overlooked is the fact of what the culture that Sean McDermott has built, what it's been able to withstand, what it's been able to do for all of these years, and for players to, I mean, we can talk about a little bit like the Bills bringing back Jordan Phillips. Like it's a little bit like, hey, if I'm going to play, I'm only going to play where I want to, where I fit. And the Dolphins seem to just be saying, we'll take him, we'll take him, we'll take him. And it has blown up in their face because they were the team 2 years ago. Trent Scherf, it was a Deontay Hardy punt return that got the Bills to win the division. Like it wasn't that long ago that this isn't
remember that game?
Yeah. Like this wasn't this, oh, the Dolphins are these lovable losers. Like they were a contending team. They found ways to scrap and play it. Now they may have mismanaged the Fitz and Tua and all that stuff, but like those guys played hard, and then they got this talent kind of shot into them, and the culture just fell apart in what they were building.
You guys will always show me some meme and you'll be like, oh, it reminds me of this. And usually I got to kind of check it out because you guys tell me about it. I'm picturing one, and you guys would tell me, of somebody looking at Miami, Buffalo. And then the next is the reality of what the two are. Like Miami looks 10 out of 10 if you're just saying, where would I like to be? And then Buffalo is Buffalo. And then the reality of it, how it comes to play based on that culture. It's strictly about the culture, the football culture. So that's where I see them, as just being a struggling team, still with talent, but not overwhelming talent.
Yeah.
I picture the dragon meme. That's like the three dragons.
Oh,
and two of them look ferocious, and one's just like,
how's it go?
Nope, not doing
Missed
it.
it.
I missed it.
You missed it.
But that's what I picture.
You may be
just
able to find that.
That's terrible. All right. Do we want to do AFC South?
They are a division.
We'll save the best for last. This is the just lost ships here.
What do you think about the Texans? CJ Stroud, another year. What do you think?
I think they're the only legitimate organization in that division.
That is correct.
They have Nick Caserio, general manager. And they have,
you want to talk about top heavy.
I think D'Amico Ryans is a good football coach.
Yep.
I love a lot of what their defense does. They get after it. I think it's interesting with Stroud this year because, last year he was supposed to have, they lost some dudes.
Yeah.
Like Diggs got hurt. Tank Dell got hurt. I'm being fair to CJ Stroud. I just didn't think he was top 5, like he said, after his rookie year.
Fair.
And their offensive line has still not been good. Now they basically revamped the whole offensive line. So they're like, well, this isn't working. Let's just
them in
try
Chicago.
this. Yeah, try it differently. But you're talking about a playoff team doing this. And that defense is good.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what they've got on the edge with Anderson and Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
Like they got some guys that can get after it a little bit. And Stingley in the secondary, like they've got some dudes there.
Yeah.
And I think Stroud is a good quarterback. I think that'll be interesting this year. Nico Collins coming back. But they are the only, I think, the only legitimate team,
I think that's
franchise in the division.
What do you think for CJ Stroud this year? Is it a bounce back year, or is it more of what we saw in year 2?
I think he's better. I think he's better than he was last year. I think the team will be better. I think they will dominate that division. I don't see anybody chasing them.
Yeah, that felt like a lost year last year. I mean, the offensive line was just so bad, and Stroud was running for his life. It felt like so much. So I do see a bounce back year. To what extent, I don't know, but 10 wins may win that division just by how anemic I think a lot of that other division is.
Yeah.
Who comes in second?
I want to say the Jags, but I don't know.
Shad Khan.
I don't know.
They've got that James Gladstone is now the general manager.
And 12-year-old.
Liam Cohn, who he did
Duval.
Yeah.
That was,
What I love about that team is Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
I want a picture of Brian
know.
Thomas Jr.
We have Roma Dunze over there for Dan.
And Travis Hunter. That's the franchise.
Yeah.
That is. I'm
excited to see him play.
I am not a Trevor Lawrence. Let me tell you something, dude. If you can't make it work with these two, I just think he has been an underachiever his whole time there. Bad organization too. Yeah. But I have never sat there and watched Trevor Lawrence and gone, God, just give this guy a little bit. I just haven't seen that. Maybe
Mediocre.
Yeah. He's really been for number 1 overall guy. I mean, they got Josh Hines Allen. The Colts. I mean, Jim Irsay passed away. Now his 3 daughters who are the ownership group. Chris Ballard's got to be on the hot seat.
I mean, we've said that
and
for
Shane
the last
Steichen.
4 years.
It's funny, Shane Steichen, like they made a terrible decision in the draft with quarterback
Anthony Richardson.
And then they bailed on him. Like it just was bad. He was bad. He was young and immature, I think.
Saying that you were too tired and needed to take yourself out of a play.
That's a bad.
Was that bad?
Yes. And now they have
Danny
Dimes there.
He's fast.
They have some talent at the wide receiver position. They have some good players.
Pittman was a monster 2 years ago, and they re-signed him. Big fan of him. Like he had like 114 catches. He had like 165 targets 2 years ago. Bad quarterback play. They still have Jonathan Taylor. Like they still have some guys. It's just, I just have zero faith in that organization as a whole to get it right.
That feels like this is the year where things were going to start.
Yeah.
There's going to be some new guys in there. All right. AFC West. Now I'm excited because there's just more competition. Like that to me has always been the biggest thing. It feels like the Chiefs every year had been able to just walk their way to the playoffs because of the division. Now it's like, okay, there's going to be some competition, Dan.
Yeah. I like the Broncos. I liked the Broncos last year. I am not as high on them as others, as seeing them as a Super Bowl contending team. I still think that offense has some flaws. Their wide receivers are okay. I'm not like sold on their offense as a whole. I think Bo Nix played over expectations to achieve what they did. I like the defense a lot. I'm not the biggest Sean Payton fan, but I like them. I just don't love them to be. They're in that second tier that I just don't think is there yet. They're Super Bowl adjacent contenders, but I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders.
I think because of how they outperformed last year, it just changes your expectations this year. And because of that, like they're just not going to sneak up on anybody.
They're good. I think they're good. And listen, I'm not a huge Sean Payton fan.
I was about to say, does that pain you to say that?
No, but I think the guy can coach. Bo Nix was really good, and he set a floor there. I don't know what his ceiling is. It may not be that high, but they brought in Evan Ingram to help them, but they've got that Troy Franklin from what you're hearing in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild to think drafting young receivers can help the team. And they've got Cortland Sutton on defense, Benito, Patrick Surtain, Zach Allen. Like they got some dudes on that team. And I think they have been in the past a well-run organization. I think they're getting back to that. And I think they have a plan. It looks like they have a plan and they're executing it. Should have beaten the Chiefs last year. Blew them out in the second game when the Chiefs rested everybody.
Yep.
But that first game, if you remember, was on the blocked field goal.
Yep.
I don't think they're afraid of the Chiefs in that sense. And look, the Chiefs are still the team, obviously.
Yeah.
I think they're good. I think they're really good. So I think they're gonna challenge. That whole division is good. The Raiders are the floor, and the Raiders got some talent there, and at least they have two adults
Yes.
at quarterback
that's
and
fair.
Yes.
coach, which will make them better and maybe a harder out. And then you have the Chargers. So I think the real that's the division that has the most competition, I think, top to bottom.
I agree. I just am that Broncos team, what rubbed me the wrong way and what really kind of changed the way that I view them, and especially talking to some people from Denver, was that week 18 win. And I know they made the playoffs, and that's great, and they hadn't made the playoffs in a long time, but they acted like beating the Chiefs' third and second stringers was like winning their Super Bowl. And they came to Buffalo, opening drive touchdown, and then it was just a shellacking after that. Like, that's where you always talk about, like, you got to be that. I don't know how ready they are for the big moments.
You're right.
Because here they are in a spot where that's two.
I know.
Oh, Michael.
That's two.
Well, I
Just
have
rephrase.
I do. Okay. You are possibly correct.
Go on.
Like-
you don't have to say you're right. Just be like, oh, I could see why you would say that.
Like
Yes.
that right there, like even that Chiefs game. And I know you can tip your caps and say, like, great job blocking that kick. And I know it's just a regular season game, but like that's a moment that you need to capitalize. I think back to when the Bills beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Like, you get those moments to prove that you're a real team. And whether it's having a kick blocked or getting blown out or celebrating a week 18 game, like that just, I don't know if they're there yet. I think they're a playoff team. I just don't know if they're ready for that stage yet in that moment. And you only learn that experience from going through and coming up short and then picking yourself up, dusting off, and going back at it again.
That's fair.
I agree with that.
You wanted to say you.
No, I don't agree with you. I know in your mind you're right. How's that? Is that good?
Yeah.
But I think they should learn from that. I think they went in there with a confidence, a little misguided. It is funny. Like, I remember watching that game and I'm thinking, for the Bills, just keep scoring, Denver.
Yeah.
They just kept putting up touchdowns. And look, they hadn't had a lot of success and they're celebrating, and it still is the Kansas City uniforms out there.
Yes.
So they're going to enjoy it. And it was big. And then they start out with the big play against the Bills.
Yep.
And then the
like,
Bills really
oh.
dominated
Yeah.
the rest of the game. Maybe they learned something from it. But I want to know, I'm going to let you, what do you think of the Chargers?
I'm over it. It's the ex-girlfriend you've called too many times and you're like, it's just not working. Like, I don't know why we keep going back to this.
But that, like, you're going to keep calling.
Nope, I'm done.
It takes someone new.
No, I blocked the number.
Really?
Yeah. They have to do something about it to make me, I've deleted and blocked the number.
But nationally speaking, I feel like they're still, hey, this is the year, Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, they got Ladd McConkey. Like, what are they going to do?
He was so bad in his playoff appearances, he could play for the Steelers. Justin Herbert.
He was so bad. How bad was he? He could play the second half for the Chiefs against the Eagles. Did you know the Chiefs scored a touchdown after the Eagles pulled all their starters?
I mean, you have Justin Herbert, who put up great numbers last year, and he is a talented
Puts
player.
up great numbers every year.
He does.
He's not clutch.
Yeah, you're right, but I'd take it a step farther. He's been bad in those playoff games. Not just didn't make the big plays, like he gives the ball up a ton. Would he have 4 interceptions last year in the game? They brought back Keenan Allen. I like Ladd McConkey a lot. He's a very good player.
I like him too.
Derwin James is a great player. Khalil Mack is still there. I don't love their defense. It's okay. They run the ball pretty well, but I think of them as a third. I think of them as the third place team in the division.
I like Ladd McConkey a lot, and I know we talked about this, but obviously, Ladd had a great year, and all these things, and somebody had talked about Ladd being a really good slot wide receiver. And he's like, I don't know why everybody keeps thinking that I'm a slot wide receiver. Like I played on the outside as much as I played inside. And somebody, I can't remember what it was, but it was like Pro Football Analysis. Somebody along those lines was like, he's right, but he spelled right WRIGHT.
Oh gosh.
And it was just a perfect. So when you said Lad McConkey, I just started giggling to myself, being like, yeah, why does everybody view him as a slot wide receiver? It's like, he's right.
So would he have the nickname White Lad? But
He would.
That's redundant.
Yeah, he's the only lad on the team.
Lad is such a weird name when you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey.
Dude can play.
Dude can
can.
ball.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember when I thought Quentin Johnston was going to be good.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That was your Bills pick.
Yeah.
That one didn't work.
Yeah.
He looks the part.
He looks
Every part
the
of him
part.
looks the part.
He was so good with that guy from TCU, the quarterback. They scored 1 billion points and then went into the national championship game and got boat raced by Michigan.
Who's the other team in the West? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Kansas.
Look at their lineup. When you say,
I'd rather not.
no, I mean, when you talk about what they have, they have the Hunt family as ownership, stability. Brett Veach might be the best general manager in the NFL. He's one of
I
them.
would say.
He's right up there at the top. You got Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo. That's stability that you want. That is consistency. And I mean, like we have to tell people, they've been in the AFC Championship game 19 years in a row. And I think this year they're going to play a little differently. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. And I think they're going to try to throw it deep a lot. They have speed. I mean, they're going to use Rashee Rice for as long as they can until he's suspended.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of speed on that team. I don't know how much the loss in the Super Bowl motivates you for an entire year, but they were right there on the verge of history and they didn't make it. They can go to their 4th straight Super Bowl to tie the Bills. Their defense still has dudes on it. So they obviously are one of the favorites, probably the favorite. Well, certainly the favorite in that division, but it will be interesting to see them with competition 6 times a year because the Raiders even usually play them tough.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I wonder at what point, and do you think this is even a point, the exhaustion sets in.
I was just thinking that.
Of
when does the bottom fall out?
Back to back to back, and then obviously the loss, and then now, like you said, like the competition in the division is just flat better. If you start to see things kind of go sideways, because obviously the talent is there, but I just think at some point it piles on to a point where it can be tough to overcome. And obviously Mahomes did not have a phenomenal season last year. So what will his game look like this year? He's still clutch. He's still all these things. But I am just curious to see, and we'll obviously learn this year.
Yeah. I just wonder, like I said, when does that fatigue, exhaustion of, they've won it on top of it. You talk about Super Bowl hangovers. You talk about the hangovers of losing in the Super Bowl, getting so close, having to pick yourself back up and go through it again. They may be a team that is, and I don't know their schedule off the top of my head, but like what might wake that team up is being like 3-3 heading into week 7. Like to be like, hey guys, we're still the Chiefs. And it is fascinating to think about how long New England did it.
Yeah.
And how many times they were able to just lather, rinse, repeat and roll the ball out there and continually play at a Super Bowl caliber level. I like the speed. That scares me. The defense, because of Spags and because of those elite players that they have, the McDuffies, the Chris Jones, all those kind of guys.
Yeah.
You just wonder. I
think you're right. I mean, it's a concern for the Bills.
You don't want to go
a
there?
different way.
You don't want to say that there's this. You want to get ahead of this one?
No. I was just looking up their first 6 games. So they have the Rams, the Eagles, the Giants, the Ravens, the Jags, and then the Lions. So it's like 3-3 in terms of you have some tough games.
Yeah.
But then
Lions,
you also
Eagles,
have then you also have the Giants and
Yeah.
the Jags. Yeah.
And
That Eagles game is at home. The
That's
Ravens
early,
game
right?
is at home. That Lions game is at home.
Oh, wow. So they got all 3 of those. That helps.
That definitely helps.
That helps. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. So
Do you think Travis Kelce, where do you think his game is at?
It's a really good question. You'd hate to like write him off, but you can tell he's in the the final back 9 of his career and seems very happy with everything that else has got going on off the field. You just wonder how much. I remember they were talking about it too, like what makes such great football players, like what made Travis Kelce so elite is like all of the things you do off the field. And when you don't want to do as many of those things, and I'm not saying that's the case, I don't know it. You just see him doing a lot of other things. Where is that attention to detail? I know that was something that was called out during last year when he had a average year a bad year by his standard. It's still a top 5 tight end in the league, but where's that in his head? Because it was he even going to come back for this year? That was a question.
He was awful in the Super Bowl.
Very bad. It was
like he almost looked disinterested.
Yes.
In playing.
Yes.
And that's not normally. Normally that guy, when the stakes get higher, he got better. He is making a lot of money on his podcast.
It's pretty successful.
Almost the same as us. It's like we're they're 1, we're 2, but we're gaining on them.
Yeah.
So that's
they have a couple more subscribers. So if you could like, comment, subscribe, we'd really appreciate it.
Hey, we have a Taylor.
That's true.
Yeah, my daughter.
When Jenna releases her next album, she was singing a little bit beforehand.
Oh.
That would be some record, I would tell you. All right, so let's pick the divisions then.
Okay.
AFC West.
Chiefs.
Going to win it. Second place, I've got Broncos.
I would go
Broncos, Raiders, Chargers.
I wanted to say that. But I'll let you have that. I wanted to say it. I'm going to keep the Chargers third. Harbaugh is another nutso guy, but he can coach. So let's see how they do. We got him in third place.
What if they're bad?
Herbert would have to be bad. He has been a very good regular season player. Or if they had some more injuries, I don't love their defense right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what they get for a pass rush. AFC South. Let's go from the best to the worst.
Texans
Jags.
Win
By default.
Texans, Jags.
Both of them.
So we didn't even talk about the Titans. I apologize to Titans fans. They've got the young quarterback. They're not a very good team. I think he's just going to play. Yeah. They're going to play it out this year. I think it's going to be a tough year for them.
I think Cam Ward on a really bad team may surprise some people.
Yeah.
Because he bounced around so much in college. I don't think people really got to understand his journey. And people were talking about it. I can't remember. It may have been on Pardon My Take, but they talked about like his calmness in some of those games this last year where it was Miami and Florida and like everybody's freaking out and they're in Gainesville and all this stuff. And Cam Ward's the calmest guy on the entire Miami sideline. And like that translates. Calmness on the field, in the pocket, in hostile environments translates. So like they may be bad, but I think Cam Ward at the end of the season, people may be going, hey, they got something maybe they can build around.
But what do you have? You have an organization that, the coach is already in trouble.
Yeah.
And now you bring in a young quarterback. I guess it's a little bit like the Giants.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it plays out. I would go, just flip a coin. I'll say maybe, I would say maybe even the Colts finish second. It really is going to be, it could be the Jags.
It's inconsequential.
I don't think any of those teams are playoff teams.
No.
When you look at it. North.
Ravens. Do you think Steelers?
No,
then,
Bengals.
Then okay. Because you think that there's no way the defense can be as bad.
I know.
I would go Ravens,
wanted to say
Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
I almost wanted to say Bengals just to be a contrarian. Is that
in your mind? You could be right.
Yeah. I like the Bengals. I'm scared of the Bengals.
You're scared of Joe Burrow and the offense.
Do you mean of the actual animal or the team?
I mean I mean Joe Cool. Like that guy is.
Yeah, he's a great quarterback.
He is, and that's the most important position to have.
And I had
say the name again of the team.
The Bengals.
Okay. You say it like
Bengals?
A bangle, like a bracelet.
Bangle?
Yeah, like the Bengals.
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but their defense stinks. Yeah, I think I did. I'm going to, just to be, you were saying I'm not the contrarian, I'm going to say Steelers second.
I'll say Steelers last.
Oh,
behind the Browns.
Behind the Browns?
Yeah. You want anarchy on this pod? Yeah. Shador leads them to 7 wins.
Wow.
And Rodgers is so bad he gets benched.
Dang.
Now, I would say, I so hope you're right about that.
Yeah, I would sign
I
up
would
for that.
so hope you're right about that.
Okay.
And the East.
All right. So the Bills.
I have Jets second.
I could see the Jets.
Are you going to jump onto my hot take that I've had for months now? Or are you going to go Patriots second or Dolphins second?
I think the floor is about to fall out for the Dolphins. I would definitely say the Jets, and then I guess that would de facto mean the Patriots third.
Patriots second.
Yeah. You're just such a contrarian.
I like Mike Vrabel that much.
I like him. He's a good coach.
I think that they will be well prepared for every game. You've heard some of the stories. You've heard former Titans players like kind of talk about it, that they would go into a game when they knew that they didn't have the horses for the fight. And he would say, we're going to score this many points. We're going to do this many yards. We're going to get this many turnovers. We're going to win the game 20-17. And he's like, more often than not, that would happen.
And then they got rid of all their good players.
That is correct.
And then it fell apart on them. It's an interesting year for Drake May. We'll have a lot of time to talk about the Patriots because he was okay last year. He showed flashes, but I think the expectations are really ramped up for him.
Yeah.
It's just different for him this year with Diggs there and some help on offense. And they've changed some things. They drafted early on the offensive line, and with Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator, that should help him. But I think the pressure, not pressure of losing his job, but pressure of being that guy to take that next step, much like Josh Allen did in 2019 when he took a major step.
So who are the 7 playoff teams? We know the 4.
The 4 teams in and then I would say, I think honestly, I would say it would be the Broncos, and I would say probably the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Bengals. I said Steelers second, but I think the Bengals will finish if they're going to make the playoffs.
Broncos, Bengals, and I don't want to say the Chargers. I'm over.
You could say the Jets. You could say the Patriots. Could the Patriots make the playoffs?
They could. They're legally allowed to.
I knew as soon as you got excited exactly where you were going to go.
I just think when you
could.
When you look at these divisions, I think it's pretty clear cut, the 4 winners. It would take something major for, I guess the Bengals would be the team because of Burrow, that if something went south, it could go that way. But it looks pretty clear with the 4 division winners. So then you start saying which teams win. And I think the West is the best division, which would make you think they could, but they're going to beat each other up a little bit, get 2 teams. And then that last one could be wild, up for grabs the last couple of weeks, where it's teams that have 8 wins, maybe 9 wins, all fighting for that. Well, wait a minute. What are we saying? Pittsburgh's going to get in there.
I was actually, in my head, it was Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, and they're going to get in there, and they'll.
No. Do you think there's any team that would be like the Texans a couple years ago or the Broncos last season that kind of like lower expectations and you're like, okay, they put it together?
I think the Patriots would be that team.
Or the Colts. If everybody plays up to over their heads.
Yeah. I mean, we like to make fun of Daniel Jones. He's better than what they've had there.
Yeah. I think he's a top 30 quarterback.
He is a quarterback.
Well, I'm just saying, like, for when he was backing up, you could look around and say there were starting quarterbacks that were worse than him.
But he usually started.
They were bad. The Giants were bad.
Yeah. Hot seat, guys.
He's a top 30.
Mike McDaniel, no question, is on the hot seat.
Zach
Taylor's on the hot seat.
That's what scares me about the Bengals is they have
Evan
this
Stefanski.
Like they have like
just
this,
because
everybody's getting canned if this season goes south.
Do you think Tomlin? What would it take for Tomlin to actually be on the hot seat?
Aaron Rodgers. It wouldn't take him to the hot seat. It'd be like Mike Tomlin's like, get me out of here. I'm done. The standard is not the standard anymore. I'm out.
I just, that clip of him being like, we do not care. I just feel like everything that Aaron Rodgers says, just be like, we do not care.
Oh, man. Mike's got to be sitting there going, okay, this is.
They're buddies.
Oh, yeah. We'll see.
That's how it all, I don't believe that for a second. As soon as he leaves the room, they're like, oh, my God.
We meant to push this in the beginning. Thirsty Turtle.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Poor job hosting. by Jenna.
Well, Dan is going to put a nice graphic on there saying Thirsty Turtle right at the beginning for our personal appearance. While Jenna blew right by it.
I know you even did say that. But Thirsty Turtle on September 4th. We would love to see you there. Thirsty Turtle and Victor. We're going to do an appearance from 5 to 7. It's going to be so much fun. We did one last year. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So highly recommend checking that out.
And if you're thinking that it's the day the season starts.
Yes.
It's
but
the
we'll
day
get
of the
you.
Thursday
You'll be
night game.
home before the game. It's
Yes.
perfect timing. We can talk football, and then you can go watch the season opener.
Yeah.
All about the
And
football.
it's the first of, at least right now, 6 live appearances we have. We're going on tour.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
The Buffalo
Get the
Plus
bus.
tour.
That's crazy.
I know.
Love it. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. From Mike Catalana and Dan Bates, I am Jenna Cottrell. This will do it for the episode of The League presented by Stella Roofing, Windows, and Siding. Again, please be sure, like, comment, subscribe, share. For Mike Catalana and Dan Bates, I am Jenna Cottrell. We will see you next time on the Buffalo Plus channel presented by Connors and Ferris.